They locked me in the barracks to keep me safe. Now I'm in heat and every alpha on base has a key. I knew I was in trouble the second I hit the ground. I'd been off all morning. Hot, shaky, my gear too tight, my skin too sensitive. But when the drill officer screamed go and we charged the hill for the third time, I pushed through like always. Until I couldn't. Until my knees gave out halfway up the slope, and I dropped behind cover like a dead weight, heart pounding and chest burning. My whole body was wrong, off, too hot, too aware. And the scent was everywhere. I pressed my face to my sleeve, hoping I could hide it, smother it, make it stop, but it was too late. I could feel it blooming in the air around me. Warm, sweet, soft at first, but growing. Stronger, real. My heart was coming on. I fumbled for the pill bottle in my vest pocket, opened it, tilted it, empty. I froze, then checked again, still empty. I miscounted, or maybe my dosage just couldn't keep up with the stress. Too much strain, too much adrenaline, too many alphas packed close together day after day. My body had enough. And now it was giving me away. The whistle blew behind me. "Next wave!" someone shouted. I pushed myself up, hoping the stumble looked like fatigue. Everyone else was already moving, boots slamming into dirt, rifles reloading, eyes wild from too many drills with no breaks. I kept my head down, stayed in the middle of formation, bland, quiet, safe. But then the guy next to me slowed down. Then another one turned, sniffed the air. "Wait, you smell that?" His voice was low, uneasy, curious. My pulse jumped. A beat later, someone further up muttered, "Something's wrong. That's not a beta scent." The air went still. No birds, no wind, just tension. Then it shifted, like a storm cloud rolling in fast. I don't need to look. I felt it. Alphas around me bristling, heads turning, eyes narrowing, weapons forgotten. And then I heard it. The first growl. Deep, rough, instinctual. My heart dropped. I turned just a little and saw it. Every alpha on the field was looking for something, someone. Scent rising, chests heaving. One of them locked eyes with me, then another, then all of them. They weren't guessing anymore. They weren't sniffing the wind, they knew. 30 alphas, hungry, on edge. And now they knew exactly what I was. Not a beta, not just tired. An omega, in heat. Standing right in the middle of their pack. And I could see it in their eyes. They weren't going to ignore it. Flashback. 2 years ago. Most people assume omegas don't get drafted. And they're right, for the most part. Government protocol says omegas aren't combat safe. Too distracting, too vulnerable, too much trouble. But here's the thing. They don't test you unless you tell them you're an omega. And I never did. I was 18 when the war started, 19 when the enlistment letters came. My friends joked about who'd get picked. I didn't. I already knew I would. See, when your family's poor and quiet and forgettable, and when you've got no alpha protector, no fancy school record, no pack to your name, you don't get a choice. You just get sent. I remember standing in line at intake, watching the guy in front of me get flagged. Strong alpha scent, rut control history. They sent him to a special unit on the spot. I told them I was a beta. Flat. Confident. Practiced it in the mirror. They scanned me. My records were clean. Forged, but clean. My scent was masked under suppressants. I'd started taking a year before. Real ones, black market, expensive as hell. They didn't even blink. I got assigned to infantry with a bunch of other low-risk betas. Basic training, no questions. Just like that, I was in. At first, it wasn't that hard. The pills worked. I kept quiet, ate less, slept less, never undressed in front of anyone, never flinched when alphas barked orders in my face. I did what I had to. Because out here, omegas don't survive. Betas blend in. Betas don't get locked away. Betas get to live. That was the plan. I could have left after basic. Technically, I wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. I could have faked an injury, transferred to a medical unit, disappeared behind a desk job like most disguised omegas eventually do, but I didn't. I stayed. It wasn't smart, I know that. It was dangerous and reckless, and probably some part of me just wanted to prove that I could. That I wasn't weak. That I didn't need protecting. That I didn't need them. Because the truth is, when I was 16, an alpha tried to claim me. He was older, bigger, pack leader type. Said all the right things in public, but behind closed doors, he treated me like I was already his. Like I belonged to him just for being born an Omega. When I finally escaped, I swore I'd never let anyone look at me like that again. So yeah, I joined the military to disappear. But I stayed because I wanted to fight. And maybe deep down, I thought if I could make it through all of this, if I could survive this place, surrounded by alphas who didn't even know what I was, then maybe I could start feeling like a person again. Not a category, not a scent, not something to be claimed. The pills helped. Every 3 days, under the tongue, I tracked it religiously. If I missed even one dose, I felt it, tugging at the edges of my mind, the need, the ache. And still I stayed. I cleaned my scent. I learned to shoot better than most of the squad. I memorized everyone's schedules. I never let myself get too tired, too soft, too noticeable. And then the assignments started getting harder. The drills longer, the units bigger. And suddenly I was stationed on Base 9, famous for its combat programs. And its 95% alpha population, all from different packs around the world. I should have asked for a transfer, but I didn't. Because I still thought I could handle it. I still thought the pills were enough. And for almost 2 years, they were. Until this week. Until this drill. Until something shifted in my body that I couldn't stop. And now I'm out of pills, out of time, and surrounded by 30 alphas who just realized the beta in their squad isn't a beta at all. Flashback ends. Back to present. They didn't even ask me. They just dragged me off the field the second it got bad, after the scent broke loose and the drill went to hell. I didn't even have time to explain or fight back. 3 officers grabbed my arms and flanked me like I was a security threat. I kept thinking, this is it. They're sending me home. They're going to court-martial me. I'm done. But they didn't send me home. They locked me in a room. Not just any room, a private barracks. Reinforced steel door, thick walls, high security latch. No windows, just a single cot, a metal table, and a tiny bathroom. No mirror, no clock, and no way to open the door from the inside. I sat there for hours, dizzy and overheating, scent leaking through the fabric of my uniform no matter how much I scrubbed. My body was going into full heat. I felt it, rolling through my skin in waves, sharp and hot and needy. When the door finally opened again, I shot up, thinking it was over, thinking someone was here to check on me. It wasn't. It was Lieutenant Markson, and the way he looked at me, like I was something rare, breakable, precious and dangerous all at once. He stepped inside slowly, holding a tray of food. His eyes didn't leave me for a second. "You okay?" he asked, voice low. I didn't answer. He set the tray down, like I was some kind of prisoner, or pet. I couldn't tell. Then he said it, just like that. "Orders from Commander Holt. You're to remain here until your scent stabilizes. No contact with the general population. For your safety. For my safety. Right." But here's the part they didn't say out loud. Every squad leader and senior officer on base has access to this room. Their key cards work. The lock was never meant to keep them out, only everyone else. And now I'm sitting in the middle of a cage, with a target on my back and 30 territorial alphas circling like wolves. By the second day, it got worse. Way worse. The heat wasn't manageable anymore. It came in waves, sharp and overwhelming. My skin felt too tight, my lungs too small. I was sweating through everything, pacing, shaking. And the scent? God, it soaked into the walls. They started coming in after that. Not all at once, just one or two at first. Some brought stuff. Food, blankets, water bottles. One brought a stupid radio like it would calm me down. They didn't touch me, not really. But they got close. Sat on the edge of the bed, looked at me like they were trying to be gentle, but their eyes were dark, hungry. "I'll stay with you tonight if you want," one said. "I don't need anything in return. Just want to help." Help. Right. They all said the same thing, but none of them stayed long. Because even though the door wasn't locked, someone was always watching. One night, Lieutenant Reno tried something. He came in all cocky, smug. Brought a pillow and took off his jacket like he was planning to sleep there. Then a sound echoed down the hall. Low, sharp. Metal boots, one pair. Heavy. Reno froze, stiffened, listened. Then he stood up, grabbed his things, and left without a word. He never came back. That's when I started noticing it. Jackson Holt. Commander. Cold. Always unreadable. He never came inside. Never even looked at me when I saw him through the little slit in the door. But every time someone did come in, they didn't stay long. Because Jackson didn't have to touch me, didn't have to speak. Just his presence outside the door, that was enough. I hated it. I hated how badly I wanted to be him. Even in the middle of everything, when I could barely think, when I was begging, trembling, burning, I still wanted him. The one man on base who hadn't laid a hand on me. The only one with the master override key. The one who hadn't used it. Yet. A few days later. At this point, I can't even tell what day it is. Sometimes I can breathe. Sometimes I'm curled up on the floor with my nails digging into the mattress and my throat too raw from biting back sounds I don't want to make. And through all of it, the door keeps opening. It's always alphas. Never the same one twice in a row. Some bring stuff. Blankets, snacks, protein bars, once even a tiny fan. "You okay?" they ask, like they actually care. "Need anything? Want me to stay a while?" Some of them keep it respectful. Some don't. The worst are the ones who try to be sweet. Like I can't smell the want on them. Like I can't hear the barely there growl in their throat when they look at me too long. They don't touch me, not directly, not yet. But the way they hover at the edge of the bed, the way their eyes roam, it's not hard to guess what they're all thinking. And then one of them actually tries. It's a young guy. I don't remember his name. Something short, cocky. He's been circling the room for a while, pretending he's just checking in. Making dumb jokes, getting bolder each time. I feel it around mid-afternoon. Another spike, worse than the others. It slams into me like fire, so fast and deep it knocks the breath out of my lungs. I stumble back, grab onto the edge of the bed, panting. My knees give. I hit the mattress hard, sweat soaking through my shirt. He doesn't even hesitate. He crosses the room in 2 steps and puts a hand on my thigh. "Let me help." I choke out, "No!" But he's already leaning over me. Big body, shaky hands. I shove at his chest, weak, but he doesn't stop. His eyes are blown wide, pupils black, scent spilling all over me. And then, a growl. Low, deep, cold enough to freeze every molecule of heat in the air. It comes from the hallway. The alpha jerks backed up like he's been shot. Looks toward the door, palms up. I didn't. But he doesn't finish. He grabs his jacket and bolts. I don't even have time to sit up before the door closes behind him. No one comes in after that. Not that day. I never saw who it was, but I've got a pretty good guess. And for the rest of that night, I sit on the edge of my bed, staring at the door, waiting. But he never opens it. 2 days later. By now I know I'm losing it a little. Not from the heat, from the silence. Because he won't come in. I know he's there. Jackson Holt. Commander. Cold. Unreadable. Impossible. I catch glimpses of him through the hallway glass. Standing still. Hands behind his back. Not even blinking when other officers go in and out of my room. He doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Doesn't look at me. And it's driving me insane. So I start testing him. I wear less. Just boxers and a shirt when someone comes in. I let my scent spill a little thicker when I know the door's about to open. I smile too much. Make stupid flirty comments. Act soft, sloppy. Sometimes the alphas fall for it. They linger, ask questions, look nervous when they hear footsteps in the hall. Other times they leave fast, like they know they're being watched. But Jackson? Nothing. Not a single visit. Not a knock. Not even a flicker of attention. Until one afternoon. There's a supply run happening. I'm told to gear up and get ready to be moved temporarily to a holding room. Just for an hour. Nothing dramatic. A soldier comes to escort me. Tall, dead quiet, black uniform, regulation perfect. It's him. Jackson Holt. My whole body goes still the second I see him. He doesn't look at me. He doesn't say my name. Just gives a short, sharp nod and turns to walk. I follow, barefoot, barely breathing. He's so quiet it's unnerving. His movements are all control and focus. Every part of him locked down like he's afraid of cracking open. We get to the holding room, just a few steps inside. I go to hand him the clearance form I was given. Our fingers touch. Barely. Just a brush. But I feel it. His hand twitches, just for a second. Like he flinched. Like something inside him snapped tight. He yanks his hand back too fast. Doesn't speak. Doesn't meet my eyes. Then he turns and leaves without a word. I stare at the door after it clicks shut. My fingers are still tingling, and my chest a complete mess. Because for 1 second, I felt it. He's not as cold as he pretends to be. 3 days later, I don't remember what set it off. Maybe it was the humidity. Maybe the pills wore off completely. Maybe I just finally snapped under it all. And it hits me so hard I drop to the floor with my nails digging into the mattress, and my body practically burning from the inside out. My scent floods the room. I can smell it. Sweet, heavy, wanting. I can't stop it anymore. And I start crying. Not even soft. Wrecked. I don't mean to say his name, but I do. Jackson. At first it's just a whisper, then louder. Jackson, please. I know he's outside. He always is. I press my face to the wall, desperate and shaking, and beg like I've never begged for anything in my life. It hurts. I don't want anyone else. Please. No answer. My heat spikes harder. Everything aches. I can't breathe through it. And that's when it happens. The door slams open. Hard. Boots. Fast. And then, hands. On me. Rough. Too rough. Another alpha. Not him. He grabs me by the arm and tries to flip me. Breathing fast. Scent overpowering. You want it so bad? He pants. Then let me help. He doesn't finish. Because in the next second, he's airborne. Slams through the wall with a force that shakes the whole barracks. I'm still curled on the floor, heart hammering, when I hear it. Him. Commander Jackson Holt, The other alpha, whoever it was, rushed out the door. Jackson's quiet. Too quiet. Locks the door behind him. Doesn't say a word. He crosses the room in 3 slow strides, sets his gun on the metal table, and sits. Straight back, hands folded, eyes forward. Not touching me. Not even looking. I'm staying until it passes, he says quietly. I sob. Actual broken sobbing.
Why? Why don't you just... please?
He doesn't move.
You don't get it,
I gasped.
I don't want them. I never did. It's you. It's always been you.
He flinches, just slightly, like I hit something too deep. Then softly, like it's killing him. You're not in your right mind.
I am,
I swear, dragging myself toward him.
I've wanted you since... before this. Since training. Since your hand brushed mine in the locker room, and I felt how hard you were trying not to look at me.
He's silent, so I keep going.
You've been watching me. You've known, haven't you?
Finally, he looks up. His eyes, green and bright and wrecked. I knew before you ever spoke a word, he says. I freeze. He breathes once, shaky. You came into my squad, scent scrubbed and file forged, walking like a beta, talking like a soldier. But I could see it. In the way you moved, the way you avoided eye contact, the way your hands never stopped shaking when I got too close. My lips part. I forget how to breathe. I requested your placement, he says, because I knew what you were, and I knew they'd eat you alive if someone didn't protect you. My chest aches. I can't even pretend to be okay anymore. I watched you train until your knees bled, he says, voice low and furious. I listened to you lie through your teeth with that blank beta voice. I smelled your cry through the wall. And I kept my distance, because if I touched you, if I let myself, he swallowed hard, I wouldn't be able to stop. I crawl to him. I'm trembling, half delirious. I rest my head against his leg, breathing him in. His hands stay clenched in his lap. You can stop, I whisper. Just one time. Just touch me. Please. Noah. His voice cracks. I'm not scared of you, I whisper. I'm scared you'll leave. He flinches again. His jaw flexes. His scent spikes. Sharp. Clean. Alpha. You think I don't want you? He says, low and shaking. Every time you breathe my name, I feel like I'm unraveling. You walk into a room and I feel like I'm choking on need. My body shivers. My thighs press tight. It hurts. But I won't take advantage of you. You're not, I beg. You're the only one who hasn't. That's why I want it to be you. His hand moves. Just one. Reaches down. Fingers trace along my jaw, soft and careful, until I'm looking up at him. Our eyes meet. If I knot you once, he whispers, I'll never let you go. I don't answer with words. I bare my throat. Right there on the floor, heat wrecked and shaking, I give it to him. My scent, my submission, my choice. And something inside him breaks. A few minutes later, I don't remember how we got from the floor to the bed. One second he was touching my face like I might disappear. The next, his body was on mine, covering me, holding me down like I belonged there, like I never belonged anywhere else. His mouth hit mine with a heat I'd never felt before. Not gentle, not cruel, just hungry. He didn't undress me like I was fragile. He tore me out of my shirt, shredded it like it offended him. I could feel his breath hitched against my skin, like he was barely hanging on. And then I saw him pull his dog tags off. Saw them on the table. Slow, deliberate. And in that moment I knew. He wasn't just going to knot me. He was going to keep me. Last chance, he growled, low and rough, nose buried at the curve of my neck. My hips lifted on instinct, my whole body already begging. "I'm yours," I whispered, broken and breathless. "I've been yours." He snarled, an honest-to-God snarl, and then everything snapped. I didn't know it could feel like that. I thought I'd felt heat before. I thought I'd wanted before. But this was alpha in full. He didn't tease, didn't hesitate. He slammed into me like instinct took the wheel. My back ached so hard I saw stars. I could hear myself crying out, shaking, clawing at his shoulders, but I wasn't scared. I was home. He set a rhythm that had no mercy. Each snap of his hit exactly right where I needed him. The bed creaked, the walls shook, the scent in the room turned so rich and feral it hung in the air like smoke. He held my wrists down, bit my throat, growled things I couldn't understand until he was so close, so engrossed, and then his knots started to swell. I gasped. My whole body tightened around him, instinct taking over, begging to be claimed. He bit down on my neck. Hard. And I broke. Everything inside me lit up. Nerves, heart, scent, soul. And then, he knotted me again. The second knot hit harder. I was shaking, boneless, marked. His. I don't know how long we laid there, but when he finally pulled me into his chest, tucked under his chin, I realized I was crying again. Not because I hurt, because I'd never felt safe like this before. He kissed my jaw, gentle now, reverent, and whispered, "They'll smell it. They'll know. You're claimed." The next morning, it didn't take long for word to spread. By dawn, the scent was thick in the hallway. My heat scent wrapped in his. Alpha, commanding, claimed. It clung to the walls, the sheets, me. Every soldier that passed outside went still. Some growled, some sniffed the air and turned red. A few looked like they were ready to kill. Because now, I wasn't unclaimed anymore. I was the Omega who got claimed by Commander Jackson Holt. And alphas, especially young, stupid territorial ones, they don't like losing. One cocky lieutenant had the balls to say it out loud. "So, we sharing or..." He didn't get to finish, because Jackson stepped out of his barracks, dead calm, sleeves rolled up, hands loose at his sides, and said, "You touch him, you don't walk off this base." Another alpha laughed. Jackson didn't. He grabbed me by the collar, pulled me into his lap in full view of everyone, and growled, "Mine." Then, in full military tone, flat, official, no emotion, anyone touches him again, they go home in a body bag. A month later. It's been a month. The heat's long past, the chaos too. The challenges stopped after the third one lost hard enough to end up in the medical bay. The base knows now. I'm not unclaimed anymore. They still look at me, but nobody touches me. Not with his scent wrapped around mine like armor. I thought things would change. I mean, of course they would. I just didn't know how. I figured he'd send me home, pull rank, say I didn't need to fight anymore, that I was his responsibility now, so I could curl up in a safe house somewhere and play the obedient Omega while he handled the world for me. But that's not what he did. He sat me down the morning after, still sore, still marked, still wearing nothing but one of his shirts and his dog tags. He looked me in the eye, calm, even, serious, and said, "You can go home, Noah. I'll handle the paperwork. No one will question it, no discharge on record. You'll still get your clearance. You'll still get your future." I blinked at him. My heart cracked. He kept talking. "You don't have to stay here just because I nodded you. You don't owe me anything. But if you want to stay, if you want to train, to finish this your way, on your feet, on your your terms. He reached across the table and touched my hand. Soft, careful. Then I'll be right here, still yours. Just a little closer this time. I didn't cry. Okay, maybe I did. A little. But I stayed. Because I knew. This wasn't just heat anymore. It wasn't just instinct. It wasn't some omega part of me crying out for a nod and mistaking it for love. No. It was more than that. It was the way he saw me before anyone else did. The way he never looked away. Never used his power to touch me without permission. Never claimed me until I asked. It was the way he stood outside my door, night after night, keeping the wolves out without saying a word. In a base full of alphas who growled and hovered and offered protection with a price, he was the only one who ever protected me without asking for anything in return. And deep down, I think I always knew. Now I train in the mornings. He watches from the far side of the yard, arms crossed, face unreadable. Still doesn't go easy on me, still calls me by my rank. But some nights, when we're alone, when the lights are off and my sense calm, the dog tags are cool against my chest, he wraps an arm around my waist and murmurs, "Still sure?" And I say it every time, steady as ever. Yeah, I chose this. I choose you. 3 years later, the house is small, just 2 rooms. Salt-worn wood and wind-chimed windows that sing when the breeze comes through. But it's ours. Built by hand, brick by brick. Quiet magic woven into the walls. Not for protection, but for peace. I plant herbs outside. Not because I need them, just because I like how they smell in the mornings. The baby bag is packed. The nursery's half painted. I've got a list taped to the fridge that says things like, breathe, call midwife, and don't let Jackson panic. Because any day now, any hour even, I'm going to have babies. His babies. My belly is heavy. I can't see my feet. I grunt every time I try to sit. And I haven't been able to wear proper pants in weeks. But gods, I've never felt more at home in my own skin. They kick when I hum. They settle when I hold my stomach and whisper, "Daddy's coming." Because today's the day. Jackson's unit is finally returning. It's been months since I've seen him in person. He called when he could, wrote when he couldn't, sent old dog tags in the mail like a promise I could wear around my neck until he got back. And now? Now I'm standing in the doorway barefoot, hands on my belly, heart pounding slow and full. When I hear it, boots on gravel, a low, sharp whistle, and then a voice I haven't heard in far too long. "Still wearing my shirt, huh?" I turn. He's there. Dust on his boots. A little leaner. A little tired. But his smile? God, that smile. It could stop wars. I don't wait. I can't. I waddle run into him with tears already in my throat. He drops his bags and catches me like he never let me go. I bury my face in his chest and just breathe him in. Warm and safe and home. "Missed you," I whisper. He presses his lips to my hair. "Missed you more." Then he crouches down and cups my belly with both hands like he's praying. And says, soft and rough, "Hey, little wolves, Daddy's home." We don't talk much that day. We don't have to. He helps me wash my hair, rubs my back when I groan, makes me tea the wrong way, but I drink it anyway. At night, we lie tangled up on the couch, his hand on my belly, his other hand laced with mine. He kisses my mark. I kiss his chest. The wind chimes sing. The babies roll gently beneath my skin. And I know, for the first time in my life, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. The end. In a base full of alphas who wanted to own him, would you have chosen the one who waited or the one who chased? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to become part of our Rainbow Force and consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome!